Galamera, Galamera, Galamera. Good morning, good morning, good morning. As you can see, today is not so much a balcony broadcast, more a broadcast from within the house. And the reason is the little one, baby here, has taken a shine to me. And Mummy is just down here beside me. I don't know if you can see Mummy there. There she is. And basically, I thought, well, do you know what? I'll do the news from here. Also, the other reason is the weather today is not good. We're having really not good weather at the moment. Interestingly, the weather forecast is cloudy with rainfall and hail. Can you believe that? And also with winds as well. But I'll see if Amanda turns up with the full weather forecast for later. Right, let's quickly look at the COVID in the last 24 hours. Good thing is things... well, it's mixed actually, to be quite honest. Infections, I'm afraid, have slightly crept up. New infections at the moment, 2,188, which is up on yesterday's 2,167. Cases identified at entries into the country, they're also up at the moment. We reported the other day there were 3. That has risen to 5 new cases at entries into the country. Now, when it comes to local stats in the Ionian at the moment, there's been 1 new case reported in Macardo. There's been 1 reported in Kefalonia. There's been 23 new cases reported in Corfu, and Zakynthos has reported 1 new case on the national statistics. However, locally at the moment, there is nothing to substantiate that at the moment. So at the moment, that means that's 19 cases for May here on Zakynthos and 542 since the beginning of the year of people testing positive for coronavirus. Now, when it comes to deaths have risen just slightly as well. The other day I reported that there were 55 deaths across Greece. Today we've had 56 new deaths across Greece. Again, the average age of those people are 70 years of age, and 96.4% of those people had underlying health conditions as well. When it comes to critical cases in hospital, thankfully they're actually on the down at the moment. I did report the other day 683 critical cases in ICUs across the country. That number has dropped now to 677. Of which 420 are male and 257 are female. So anyway, let's have a look at today's news. There's been quite a bit going on in the last 24 hours here in Greece. First of all, Greece's Civil Aviation Authority said on Friday that it will not allow entry into Greece from people from what they describe as third countries, all right? And that will be starting as of today, and that will continue up until May the 14th. Up from today, May the 14th, up until May the 24th. So for the next 10 days, they're not allowing people in from certain countries. Now, there are exceptions to the rule, and the Civil Aviation said that permanent residents of the European Union and the Schengen area are exempted from this, as well as the citizens from the following countries who are exempt this ruling. And they are Australia, North Macedonia, United Arab Emirates, United States, United Kingdom, the Brits, Israel, Canada, Belarus, Bahrain, New Zealand, South Korea, Qatar, China, Kuwait, Ukraine, Rwanda, Russia, Saudi Arabia, Singapore, Serbia, and Thailand. Interesting to see that Serbia, one of our locals here, good tourist population, they are allowed entry in, so no problems for them. Now, all of those people from those countries stated must either have a certificate in English, okay, which is also interesting, issued by the relevant authority in their country of departure, that they have completed a vaccination at least 14 days before arrival or have a negative result in a PCR test for COVID-19 performed in the last 72 hours before arrival. Now, interestingly, at the same time, the Greek government has also announced that it has closed the land border between Bulgaria and Greece at Nicosia. All traffic other than commercial traffic are not allowed to cross at that border. This only leaves the Bulgarian-Greece border stations of Rome and Pocahontas as the only areas that you can come in through those locations as well. Now, after their requisition for COVID-19 patients at the height of the third wave, the Greek national health system now is gradually starting to return to normal, and this is going to be shown through this week, as the health authority said on Friday that, citing the improving epidemiology picture and the overall reduction in hospitalizations, the return to normalcy will start this week by the declassification of certain hospitals that were recruited as part of the ongoing drive to treat COVID patients. You might remember that, unlike the UK, where they went out and basically built all those Nightingale's hospitals, which ended up not being used, Greece basically went to the private sector and said to the private hospitals, we're commandeering you, and you are now being pressed into service to treat COVID patients. Well, at the moment, Greece has basically said that it is going to start returning those hospitals back to private practice, as they feel that the pandemic now is starting to rescind and their services are no longer required. Anyway, interestingly now, Greece is formally opening its gates to tourism. That happened yesterday. And they're, believe it or not, expecting the double amount of visitors and revenues it had to last year. Now, this is according to officials and experts. The sector accounts for a fifth of the economy, as we all know, living here. And the arrival of the first of the charter flights from Central Europe on Friday coincided with the easing of restrictions against the novel, the coronavirus, or they like to call it sometimes the novel virus. Anyway, Greece is aspiring to build on last year's unexpected success, securing more than 6 million tourist arrivals and over 4 billion euros in revenues, despite the pandemic. Now, the anticipated tourism increase is set to add about 2% to Greece's gross domestic product this year, and that's according to a report released by the British bank HSBC. Whoa! Anyway, the safe opening of tourism last year between the first and the second wave of the pandemic in Europe, i.e. from June to November, led to Greece recovering 23.5% of its record arrivals and revenues of 2019. And that was figures that came from the Bank of Greece. Now, in late April 2021, the World Travel and Tourism Council handed Greece the Global Champion Award for COVID-19 crisis management. This safety factor has been acquired and is now a key asset for Greece. The Athens, Attica and the Agos Savannah Hotel Association spokesman, Ilya Ferran, told the Exxon, I think that's the Chinese actually, citing the association's research last summer. He said safety was the second most important reason tourists chose Greece last year, only after, believe it or not, the archaeological sites. There you go. Now, anyway, according to the Greek government, the signs are very positive for 2021, referring to the bookings in place for the summer. Tourism Minister Harry Thriakis said on Thursday that our country has already recovered 33% compared to 2019, while Europe stands around about 20% as well. Now, the immediate tangible proof of interest is the agreements for the expansion and the cooperation with major tour operators, as well as increased flights with more frequent services, and also the official launch of the tourism season. Now, the GNTO Secretary General, Nikos Farankis, told the Greek National Tourism Organization that they are now operating with 18 airlines, 78 tour operators, and Greece has now got an advertising budget for this campaign set at 10.6 million euros to get the word out. Farankis added that the organisation will also run smart online campaigns, which will have a total budget of 12.3 million euros. So a lot of money being spent just basically getting the word out that we are a safe place to come. Right, another story as well that caught my eye this morning is that Wizz Air has announced the creation of a new base, which is going to be based in Rome at the Fiumicino Airport. And they're going to be installing 4 aircraft there. Now, among new destinations to fly in from Rome is, guess where? Corfu and Zakynthos. Now, Zakynthos is going to start to get flights from Rome with Wizz Air starting on July the 15th, and they're going to run through until October the 30th. And now there's going to be 3 flights a week, and they'll be on a Tuesday, a Thursday, and a Saturday. Now, Corfu is also going to be getting flights directly from Rome, and they're going to start on the 2nd of July, and they're going to run till October the 29th. And they will only actually be getting 2 flights a week, as opposed to us getting 3 flights a week, which will be on a Monday and also a Friday. And also, as I was saying to Jane this morning, I think the Italians prefer Zakynthos than they do Corfu. So that could be the reason we're getting more people coming here. Anyway, some sad news. The 11-month-old daughter of the British woman murdered in Athens by burglars earlier this week was laid to rest yesterday on the island on the island of Alonsis, along with her husband, who attended the funeral, and the daughter as well. There were a lot of pictures in the media of the funeral itself. Babis, the husband, flew by helicopter, because he's actually a helicopter pilot, from Athens to go to the funeral, while his wife's body was accompanied by her mother. Anyway, Babis and daughter and Linda had been flown by helicopter to the island, where the shops and businesses actually closed for the day as a mark of respect as the funeral took place. And in a moving elegy, he said, "I was very lucky that I knew Caroline." That was the name of the girl that was murdered. "And she loved me. I was very lucky for all the moments we shared. One thing that makes me even more sad than her death is the fact that our daughter will grow up without remembering her beautiful mother, who was the joy of my life. But through her daughter, Caroline, will always be with me and with all of us. Our loved ones are just the most important to us all." Anyway, after wiping away the tears, he added, "You should look after your loved ones and enjoy your time together." Now, during the funeral, the helicopter pilot Ballis carried the baby Linda over to lay a single flower on her mother's coffin, and he carried her in his arms throughout the day. Now, the congregation could see him holding her during the moment. The pair said their final goodbyes to Caroline as her body was laid to rest in a hilltop cemetery. Caroline's heartbroken parents and former British serviceman David Crouch and Susa Della Costa, her mother, were supported by friends and relatives in their moment of grief. Now, during the emotional service attended by hundreds of mourners, family members were inconsolable, as well as well-wishers throwing flowers onto the coffin, which is the Greek way. Anyway, Miss Della Costa, the mother, had earlier accompanied Caroline's body on the long journey from Athens by road and sea on her final resting place, which was on the picturesque Aegean island. Dressed in black, Miss Della Costa appeared distraught as she boarded the Skiathos Express ferry at the port of Volos for the 5-hour journey to Alunos. Anyway, Caroline's husband, Babis, had been allowed to break off helping the police with their inquiries and obviously attend the funeral of his wife. At the moment, the police are saying that they are still baffled at the reason why the burglars would murder the mother and not obviously kill the husband. The ongoing inquiry is still going on. And something that was also revealed yesterday, which I wasn't aware of, that when she was strangled during the raid on Tuesday, they basically ran off with £30,000 in cash, and also gems and diamonds were stolen as well. So at the moment, the investigation is still ongoing. And again, we will keep our ears to the ground and see what comes. And once again, condolences to all the family members for losing loved ones through such a horrendous crime. And again, this has greatly affected Greece as well. There's been a real outpouring of affection towards the family and a shock and horror as to how this could be allowed to go on as well. Now, it also seems on our own island at the moment, the local Greek press, it seems last night, were reporting that there was significant developments in the case of the murder of the local businessman, Dimis Kroufatis, who was murdered last Friday, a week ago, in Zakynthos town. Now, according to reliable sources, the press reported that more information in the case has come to light over the last few days. They said that a massive case file has been gathered in the past few days with findings from the criminal laboratories of Ellis, and they've also been able to decipher telephone calls, which they say now may pave the way for impressive developments. Now, officials estimate that these significant developments may actually lead to Pacific persons being arrested. Now, the intervention of the Supreme Court prosecutor in recent days and his orders to speed up the investigation seem to have worked as a catalyst, and police sources now argue that there is enough evidence to solve at least the first case, which was the killing of Dimis's wife last June when they were ambushed outside their home, when Dimis was seriously injured and his wife, unfortunately, was the victim who was killed. So again, developments here on this crime. This crime here on Zakynthos has caused absolute shock and consternation as well. Zakynthos has a reputation normally for being a quiet island in certain respects, and having something like this happen here is not good for the image of the island, and also just for people's general safety and well-being. But anyway, we'll keep our ears close to the ground and we'll see if anything more transpires. Right, let's have a quick look at people passing me messages at the moment. Let's have a go. I'm just scrolling up. Catherine Ling is watching. Wiggy Win Stanley is also tuning in, the ambassador for Wigan over there in Limassol. I hope you're feeling all right, fella. He says, morning, Ginge. Morning, big buddy. Andy Owen is also watching as well. Andy Owen says, morning, Ginge. Have a good one. Wendy Norcliffe is also tuning in as well. Christine Brown is tuning in. Andrew Keach is watching as well. Teresa Ann Huggett is watching. Andrew Greech says, morning, Ginge. Have a good one from Wales. I will do, fella. Jean Lillis is watching as well. Lindsay Lamb is watching from the island. Nice to see you here, tuning in. Neil Facier is tuning in. Karen Greenall is also watching as well. Karen Bush is also tuning in. Nice to see you. Raf Red Buddy, Sean Webb is also tuning in. Karen Greenall, loving your little buddy on your shoulder. So cute. Yeah, he's a little darling. He's really adventurous at the moment. We did have 3 little kittens that were born, but unfortunately 2 of them passed away. But this little fella, he's doing really well. And his mum has done an absolutely fantastic job. And she's having a bit of a break at the moment, bless her. Anyway, Lisa Goodall is also watching as well. Andrew the Fridge Watkins is watching. I'll give him a wave. Dawn Usser is watching. Debbie Wamstow is watching. It looks like I'm getting a lot of repeat messages here at the moment. Also, Paul Bruff is also watching it as well from up in Bolos. I hope you're doing all right, fella. Paul Booty is also watching as well. Barbara Telfer is watching too. Right, okay, that's it from me for this morning. Mixed kind of news, really. The government is trying to be as positive as they can in regards to the start of the season. At the moment, as we said yesterday, we've had our first tourist arrivals of the Swiss. And then yesterday we had 5 plane loads of Polish arriving. No reports of how many actually did turn up on each flight. And then we had 1 flight Ryanair from Brussels that turned up as well. And something that I didn't mention, when we had our first arrivals of Swiss, who came in from Zurich on the Thursday, believe it or not, 7 people from Zakynthos decided that they would shoot off to Switzerland as well. So again, as some of these flights are arriving, some people are taking the opportunity to obviously fly out as well to wherever the flights have come from, because obviously the first flights in will obviously leave empty. So again, if you can get the criteria and your vaccinations and all the other stuff that you have to do, then obviously people are taking the opportunity, if they can, to escape off the island. Anyway, Paul Bruff says, morning, Ginge. It's getting busy here. So Paul, who's over there in Volos, up in the Peloponnese, again, it's getting busy for you. It's getting busy for us at the moment as well. It's what I would call it's a slow build. At the moment, we're still wanting certain restrictions lifted. We're still wanting some clarity over certain rules about inside dining. Obviously, the music ban, I was having discussions yesterday with people over the music ban and the ludicrousy of it. We want that to be lifted because at the moment, it's not good for business. I have noticed that the Art Bar are planning to do a live stream silently from their bar. So I wish you all the luck, Dino, with that. So basically, if you want to go to the Art Bar, you plug your headphones in on your phone and you can listen to Dino banging out tunes from the Art Bar silently. They can't be heard within the venue. But technically, if you've got your phone and your headphones plugged in, you're not breaking the law. So could this be the way ahead? We shall wait and see how that works out. But anyway, there's just certain rules we need lifting, clarity. I know at the moment with the Indian variant, I haven't got into the discussions over that at the moment. Greece is taking the precaution to basically shut its borders from countries like India, where the Indian variant at the moment is having its time. However, I've got to put that into context. Looking at the amount of deaths and you look at the size of the population of the country, it might be just a little bit of too much of a bang, making a lot of noise, when in fact Britain could quite easily just shut its borders and stop its aircraft flying in from India. You're supposed to be checked before you fly in. You should be checked when you arrive. So if anybody is on those flights, it makes you wonder what is being done to check their arrivals. If you stop the flights and nobody turns up, but then again, Boris is obviously playing the long game of worrying about international trade. And I think quietly, behind the scenes, worried that he might be appeared to be looking racist because he's decided to, if he decided to stop flights in from India, because trust me, some people will use that as an excuse, basically, to just cause trouble and mayhem, etc., etc. But anyway, Greece here, flights from those locations have been stopped for the time being up until the 24th to basically see how it progresses, because the last thing we want is for Greece to have problems on that score, which will then be of a big detriment to our tourism industry. And already the Greek government is turning around and saying, things are looking good for us. Also, even HSBC Bank is saying things are looking good for us, and they would know, they're probably holding some of the debt for Greece. But also as well, people on the ground here, to be honest, are being optimistically cautious, all right? What they want 100% is for Britain to be basically on the green, to put Greece on the green, so people can come here with just a PCR test, vaccination certificate, and then have their holiday and go home and not have to do 10 days quarantine. This is what we want and this is what we need. So anyway, we'll wait and see. It's still early days yet. We've still got a little bit of May still to go. But like Stacey Jackson is saying, morning, keeping everything crossed for our holiday in July. Trust me, we're keeping our fingers crossed and our toes crossed and everything crossed, so that some sense will come out of this and Greece will be in the green again, and we can obviously welcome British tourists here to the country, who are one of the major contributors to our economy here in Zakynthos. Right, that's it from me and little fella here, bless him. We still haven't decided on a name yet, because basically we're not sure whether it's a boy or a girl, but he's acting like a lad, I've got to be honest, more than a girl, but we'll wait and see. But anyway, cheers for tuning in. I'll keep my ear to the ground and I'll catch you later. Ta-ra.